And it's now day 132 of our 1000 Dawns, and boy howdy, what a day I have had. So, I think I did say last night that today was going to be pretty much non-stop from start to finish, and allow me to explain to you exactly what's happened whilst it's all fresh in my mind. Actually, let's just speak about recently, because speaking of fresh, I've just come out of the shower. And honestly, I am with a razor as good as this one. I'm literally gonna like shave every single day now, because this time I haven't managed to cut my skin at all, and smooth as a baby's behind once again. And I must admit, I think I'm suiting my haircut. Actually, it feels like a nice change of pace. It doesn't seem like that different, but well, that might also have to do something about how my day has been. So it started as you would expect. I went down to breakfast and left just after 8 o'clock, straight to Westminster. And I spent about an hour in Westminster and Whitehall, and then made my way further up to Trafalgar Square, where literally they cut. I mean, I'll be releasing a longer video about my adventures during the day and night. And honestly, they literally cut off almost all of Trafalgar Square for some. Well, it turned out to be some sort of concert for the London Symphony Orchestra, but they had BMW literally plastered on everything. You would have thought they were the ones who invented the orchestra. So yeah, once again, BMW, the people who buy them can't drive, and they literally feel like they own the joint. I remember actually I was speaking to two ladies who came up from Cheshire earlier today, and they couldn't believe it either. Like, why on earth did this have to happen on today of all days? And I think I remember saying back that Adolf Hitler didn't need to concern himself, because the Germans have already invaded BMW and all that, just in case, yeah. They got it at any rate. Speaking about not getting things, however, I remember I asked a doorsman when I was walking past Downing Street and past the Ministry for like Media and Culture and for Revenue and Customs, where the Ministry of Silly Walks was. He did not laugh at the joke. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it wasn't the first time, or maybe he just doesn't watch Monty Python. Who knows? Anyway, the point was is that yeah, that was as it was. So anyway, after all my exploits there. Oh god, what actually did happen next? I can't actually remember. I think I must have got the tube all the way to Leicester Square on the Piccadilly line, and I remember walking, I think, from Leicester Square, and somehow I think I ended up in Soho for some reason, and I remember just sort of walking around the place, because I didn't really. It was vaguely and in some direction. And when you walk vaguely and in some direction, it doesn't take too long before you completely are at odds about where the hell are you going. I wish it wasn't like that, but it was a true story. Speaking of true stories, the food markets they were having in Soho. Now, listen, there were like food markets, like there was one in Hammersmith yesterday, and there's of course quite a famous market in Shepherd's Bush, but the one I passed, honestly, I had a sampling of my first ever sampling of Palestinian cuisine, and I must be honest, for reasons that anyone who's ever tried Palestinian cuisine would know, it literally brought tears to my eyes. It was probably one of the best samples of chicken I've ever had in my life. Why on earth all chicken can't taste like that, I have no idea. So yeah, my first real contingency or involvement with this Israel versus Palestine conflict, and it boils down to food of all things. That's about as far as my involvement is going to go, because well, I'm not even going to begin to try and rationalize or work out how on earth you're supposed to get involved in a discussion like that. Yeah, that it's kind of a reason why I've stayed well and truly quiet about it, because I am not even going there. mind you, speaking about not quite going there, what happened after all this is that I went in search for the underground, and I ended up walking for, I must be honest, quite a long time because I can't exactly how it happened, but then I managed to end up in Burlow in Camden, and well, to be honest, because it was once again on the Piccadilly line, I got on it and I headed all the way to Islington, and you know what, birthplace of George Orwell. But you know what else is also in Islington, guys? Emirates Stadium, and well, I just had to take a look, and it was literally one of the first things I saw when I was coming here on the train yesterday, and when I was coming into London, and honestly, it is breathtaking. That building is that stadium is breathtaking. That I don't know exactly what it would be like to like see it from the inside, but outside it's glorious. And listen, I'm a Geordie, but let me tell you something right now. It's none half impressive. And it was probably just as fun that I was talking to a few gunners outside, and they were like waving a huge flag in front of the huge statue of Arsene Wenger. And I talked about it. I love the fact that they managed to incorporate his tie so well into the statue. And yeah, we had a few banter here and back in there, and I said if Spurs weren't so shit, Arsenal still wouldn't have any need to worry because they are so completely out of their league. Yeah, and I think I even spoke to two guys from Liverpool on the tube back, that I felt like I've had the full London experience, like slagging off Spurs in front of Arsenal, which, let's be honest, it's not a very hard thing to do. And that's also been the really, really interesting thing that people kind of warned me a little bit when coming down here as well. Be cautious of like trying to, if people try and give you dodgy looks. But from my experience, or at least the experience I've had so far, everybody I've talked to whilst I've been down here has been overwhelmingly positive and extremely welcoming. And I must admit, because you always hear bad things on the news, don't get me wrong, but the news doesn't always cover the full story. And honestly, it was really, really nice. And that's the way I like my experience. It's actually been really nice. And what can I say? I've just sort of, I don't know if it's just because I get along with people like that, or well, they can tell that I am about as mean as a kitten in mittens. But it's just one of those things, and I think that's pretty swell in my opinion. So anyway, once my experiences up in Islington were that, I just got the Piccadilly line back to Hammersmith, and I had a little bit of a rest, because if I left at about 8:30, or probably just after 9 o'clock, I managed to get back to my hotel room just before 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I've had about a 3 hour like respite, and I'm sort of getting myself ready for the night. And I feel like we should end our little experience here in London with fireworks. It's a good thing that the tubes sort of run 24/7 on the Saturdays and on Fridays and Saturdays. It's probably probably for that reason. And honestly, that I'm just that's the thing about how if there's one way I can summarize my experience with London, is that these 2 days have given me more satisfaction and more joy than I probably may have remembered in the last 10 years. In fact, to be honest, the last time I remember having this much joy and this much satisfaction was probably when I graduated the secondary school 10 years ago. 10 years ago coming up. Well, probably at this exact same time. So, yeah, I must be honest, that's that it's such a it's been quite a time. And I don't really know at this stage exactly like what is coming next, but I do know that out of everything that has happened during my time in London already, I can absolutely say this is not going to be the last time I'll be in London. I'm definitely planning on coming back. That's for sure. Um, is there anything else I wanted to say? Um, I'm sure like maybe the videos I release in the next couple of days, they'll reflect this sort of attitude because of probably what is going to come immediately afterwards. But with that being said, I'm going to cut it off there and, well, basically get ready for the night because honestly, well, because my time here in London isn't finished just yet.